Good day, everyone. I am Mabolo, and today I'll be talking about the outcome-based education. It may sound technical, but don't worry, I'll explain it in a way that's simple and clear. So first, what is an outcome-based education? An outcome-based education is a way of teaching where the focus is on what students should achieve at the end of the lesson, course, or program. Instead of the teacher just focusing on what to teach, the outcome-based education focuses on what the students should be able to do or show after the learning. So for example, instead of the teacher saying, "I will teach grammar," in outcome-based education, the teacher should say, by the end of the lesson, students should be able to write correct sentences using verbs. So this means that the focus is not just on explaining verbs, but on making sure students can use them properly in their own way of writing, which shows real understanding. Now let's go on to the outcome-based education connects four parts of learning. First, we have the intent. This is what school or teachers want students to achieve. The second is the content. These are the topics taught. The third is learning experiences. This is the activities students do. And four, this is the evaluation. How we check if students learn it. So for example, if the goal intent is to help students become better public speakers, the content might include voice projection and body language. The learning experience could be practicing speeches. Evaluating might be graded oral presentation. So for example, all parts are connected and focus on helping students actually perform the skills. So what do experts say? So Spady in 1993 believes that outcome-based education is about having clear learning results. Students should show real competence, while Davis in 2003 believed that outcome-based education should ask what should students be able to do at the end of the course. So for example, in a computer class, instead of just learning what Excel is, students should be able to create and format spreadsheets. So it's not just enough to recognize the tool, the students must apply it to solve the real problems. So there are levels and types of outcome. So the first we have is the institution level. So these are the school's vision and mission. So for example, to produce globally competitive graduates. So this is the school long-term goal for all students. So the next we have is the program level. So these are the goals for each course or degree program. So for example, in nursing, graduates should be able to give safe and ethical care. So every subject in the program helps achieve this bigger goal. And the third we have is the course level. So these are the objectives for each subject or class. So for example, in science, students can explain how photosynthesis works. So it is a clear, specific skills or knowledge the students should demonstrate by the end of the lesson. So now let's focus on Spady's two approaches to outcome-based education. So the first we have is the traditional or transitional approach. So this focuses on academic subjects like math or English. So for example, students can solve algebra problems. So the focus is on the subject mastery, understanding the formula and solving them correctly. And the second we have is the transformational approach. So this focuses on real life skills and preparing students for roles in society. So for example, students can work well with others in a group project. So this prepares students to become good team members in workplaces or communities, a life skills beyond schools. So now let's all move on to Spady's four principle of outcome-based education. So first we have the clarity of focus. So this is for knowing exactly what students should achieve. So for example, if the goal is to speak clearly in public, students should do speaking activities like debates or oral reports. So these activities are aligned with the goal, not just reading about speaking, but actually practicing it. And the second we have is the design backwards. So this is for starting planning with the goal in mind. So for example, if the outcome is write a business letter, the teacher should teach parts of the letter, give example, and ask students to write their own. So these planning start with the outcome and every step helps students reach it. And the third we have is the high expectations. Believe that all students can achieve success with proper support, we should give feedback, tutoring, or extra time if needed. Don't lower the standards. So it's about giving equal chances to succeed, not making things easier. And the fourth we have is the expanded opportunities. Provide multiple ways to learn and show skills. So for example, students can do presentations, projects, group work, or maybe role plays. So not all students learn the same way. So this helps everyone succeed in their own way. So now let's talk about Malan's feature of outcome-based education. So the first we have is needs-driven. So for example, teach students how to write a resume. So this prepares them to real-life situations like job hunting. And the second we have is the outcomes-driven. So for example, if the goal is to teach communication, all lessons and tests involve speaking and writing. So everything is built around what students should achieve. And the third we have is the design down. So for example, if the outcome is understand ecosystems, the teachers picks only the lessons and activities that helps reach that. So the goal comes first, then the content follows. And the fourth we have is the focus on learning. So for example, students reflect on their progress or do peer assessments. So students are active participants in their own learning. And the fifth is holistic. For example, start with basic skills like identifying shapes, then moves to complex tasks like designing a model house. So learning builds step by step from remembering to creating. So according to Harden, Crosby, and Davis 1999, outcomes should include task or practical skills. For example, write a lesson plan for education students. It shows readiness for actual teaching. And the second is attitudes, behavior, and mindset. For example, show respect in group work. So it promotes teamwork and professionalism. And the third is professionalism. So in real world conduct. So for example, arrive on time during internship. So this builds good habits for future jobs. Now the outcome-based education in Philippines is now used in many colleges and universities. The Commissions on Higher Education or CHED introduced outcome-based education officially in CMO number 46 series of 2012. Schools must design their programs to make students ready for their real world, not just exam. For example, in Bachelor of Secondary Education program, students are expected to know the subjects well, use effective teaching methods, act professionally in class and during practice teaching. So everything, lessons, activities, and assessments help students become good teachers, not just passers on a board exam. So in conclusion, to sum it up, outcome-based education focuses on what students can do at the end of the course, so it connects goals, content, teaching strategies, and assessments. It supports all kinds of learners by giving them clear goals and many chances to succeed. So, in the Philippines, outcome based education helps schools prepare students for real life, not just for schools. It's not about how much the teacher teaches, but how much the students learns. So that's conclude my topic. Thank you for listening.